Why is it that some contractors seem to have all the luck when it comes to landing commercial jobs with condos and HOAs, but some just seem to struggle over and over again to get their foot in the door? Well, I can tell you it's not luck, it's strategy. And it's super easy to really succeed in this market if you know what you're doing. Now, in this video, I'm going to cover exactly what's at the core of succeeding in this industry and why so many contractors and home service pros just fail to land these commercial jobs, and what you can do to tweak your approach so you start landing more commercial jobs in this market. Now, listen, I was a property manager for 12 years, so what I'm telling you here comes from experience. I know this industry better than anyone. And I can tell you that the ones that are struggling are only struggling because they're approaching associations the wrong way. If you've been looking into this market, you probably have been told, go knock on some doors, show up, go send some emails, make some calls. Look, you might get lucky doing these things, but it's not a sustainable path to growth. The contractors that are truly succeeding in this market, they put more attention into what happens after the initial contact. And what I mean by that is they put more attention into building relationships more than anything else. The contractors that, again, seem to be failing are the ones that are just focusing on implementing tactics. The tactics are things like knocking on doors and going in and making phone calls, sending emails. These are just tactics. Okay. There's a quote by Sun Tzu in The Art of War. If you've ever read that book, he said that tactics without strategy are the noise before defeat. And that's precisely the problem a lot of contractors seem to continue make over and over again. I want to get you away from just focusing on that. And then I want you to focus on what happens after. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share 3 points that explain why relationships are the ultimate competitive advantage in this industry. And if you tweak your approach to just that, you're going to open way more doors for your business, and you're going to be able to get way more commercial contracts and jobs with HOAs and condos. So I'm going to give you 3 points here. Point number 1 that I want to make here is when it comes to these businesses or when it comes to these associations, it's all about trust. Relationships create trust. Unfortunately, a lot of contractors, they tend to think that what gives them the competitive advantage is price. And that's not necessarily true. What gives them the competitive advantage is the relationship. Although it may be your experience that, these condos and HOAs only care about price, I may challenge you to look at what kind of condos and HOAs are you working with. Because typically the lower end kind of properties, yeah, they'll be more price sensitive, but the higher end properties, guess what? They're more sensitive to quality. They want quality over price. And they may not necessarily look for the cheapest bidder. I'll tell you what they all value. They all value someone they can trust. And they will always go for someone they trust over the cheapest bidder. So if you focus on strengthening relationships with key players at these associations, what you're going to do is you're going to increase your likability and you're going to increase your trust factor. And the lesson here is pretty clear. People do business with people they like and trust. And this matters in this industry. Okay. Second point I want to make here is that it's also about being at the right place at the right time. Most contractors, they tend to think that if they show up, they're going to show up at the right time. And even if you do get lucky, you show up at the right time, the chances of them buying today are like zero. They're not going to buy today. Most likely not going to buy today. Why? Because there's a whole decision-making process that goes into selecting a vendor, hiring somebody. I can even tell you, studies show that in any given market, only 3 to 5% of people are looking to buy now. So the vast majority of the associations and condos, homeowner associations and condos that you're going to be talking to, they're not in the market to buy now. So if you're not going to get there at the right time, so then where's the next best place to be? Well, the next best place to be is in the mind of the prospect. You want to be memorable. Why? Because when you're memorable, people will call you back. They will go through this whole process of this whole decision-making process, which could take months, and then they'll call you after they're done. But if they forget about you, they're going to call your competitor. Finally, point number 3 is that relationships are a multiplier. What do I mean by that? Well, building relationships with property managers is not only a good strategic approach, but it's also super smart. And it's because managers tend to refer business to each other. If one of them trusts you, that trust then gets transferred on to the other managers. I've had countless times where managers come to me asking me, hey, do you know a roofer, a landscaper, a drywall specialist, a painter? Why do they come to me as opposed to Google? Well, it's because managers want to work with reliable and trustworthy vendors. And sometimes the fastest way to finding them is just asking other managers. Okay. Now, here's the kicker. If you focus on building relationships systematically, whether it be by showing up to the property, maybe bringing a cup of coffee with you, giving the manager, some advice on something, giving some of your time, your expertise, or creating shared experiences like events that you can invite them to. You're not just going to strengthen that relationship. You're also going to tap into a very powerful force, and that's the force of reciprocity. Okay. And what I mean by that is that you're going to make them feel obligated to give back. So that whenever the opportunity comes up to give back, whether it be by referring you to another manager or referring you to a homeowner, referrals are one of the ways managers give back. So the lesson here is pretty simple. One relationship can lead to many through word of mouth. So to recap, what you want to do is create a system for building relationships as opposed to just submitting bids or estimates. Reasons for that were, number one, relationships create trust. And when people like and trust you, more business opens up to you. Relationships are also good to keep you memorable. They keep you top of mind. Remember, most likely you're not going to show up at the right time. So at the very least, you want to be at the right place. And the right place is in the mind of the manager. And finally, the more relationships you build in this industry, the more word of mouth will multiply your opportunities. This is why relationships are such a unique competitive advantage. If you start to shift your focus on building more of these relationships, you're going to find that everything else just starts to take care of itself. If you found this video helpful and you'd like to know more, down in the description below, I am going to leave a link for my free cheat sheet, which will help you understand how to break into the condo and HOA market. In the cheat sheet itself, I'm going to teach you my 3-step framework, which you can model and plan around so that you know exactly, you have clarity on what to do next when you're approaching these associations. It's a really valuable resource, and I really recommend that you get it. But if you also like this video, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button as well. Make sure you turn on notifications, all that good stuff. And comment down below. Let me know what challenges you are dealing with when it comes to approaching these associations. If there's anything I didn't cover, go ahead and put it in the comments. I'll go ahead and answer. Until next time, my name is Jonathan. Thank you for watching.